What's up, guys? Today we're in the beautiful Okanagan Valley out for a cruise on my 2017 FZ-10. This is my first motorcycle, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I made that decision, what it's been like living with this in a variety of situations, and just what to expect with one of these bikes. Let's go. Okay, well, first of all, let me just start by saying thank you for coming along. Please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. It really helps when growing these channels. Anyways, I got this bike very recently. It was not something that I was really looking at. I work at a motorcycle dealership, and we had this thing on the showroom floor, and it just made sense for me to purchase it. And let me tell you, I'm so glad that I did. I have to say, I could not see myself having less power than this. I think these are around 158 or 160. And to be honest with you, like, I'm completely ready to start getting into you know, some muffler upgrades and ECU tuning and whatnot. I'm not recommending that this is a good bike for a new rider. I've had a couple of 450 dirt bikes. You know, riding off-road is incredibly sketchy on one of those, and I'm, you know, just years and years of dirt biking, I'm pretty at home on a motorcycle. This bike I don't find to be nearly as scary as I thought it was going to be. There is a lot of power, and it is got good usable torque and stuff, but really, you know, you got to be up over 8, 9, 10 grand or whatever to really start getting in the power. So it's pretty easy to drive it around very normally, and then if you want to get on it, obviously you have that option available. I should probably mention that the sound that comes out of these things with that cross-plane crank is absolutely delicious. These things sound so much better with a pipe on them. Pipes and mufflers and decat pipes and all that are just horridly expensive for these. I work at a motorcycle dealer, and I priced out the Leo Vince or Leo Vinci, which I'll probably go with that just because I can get a really good deal on it working there. Anyways, though, I'll fire it up and you guys can hear what it's like. I watched all the reviews before I bought this, and I feel like, you know, my impressions of this are so different than what almost all the reviewers are saying. But you have to take that with a grain of salt because, like I say, this is my first motorcycle and I don't really have a lot of other things to compare it to. All right, so the first talking point that you always hear about is the screen. Now, I've never driven a bike with a better screen, so I mean, again, take it with a grain of salt, but there is nothing about this that annoys me at all. I love the gear indicator on there. I find it super helpful. People have complained about the fuel gauge. I mean, it basically just goes from full to half, and then I believe it's a third and then a quarter. And yeah, I mean, I don't mind it at all. You know, it doesn't bother me. You know, you just, every time I fill the tank, I just sort of reset the trip odometer. People also complain about the fuel economy and just how short the range is. Again, you know, take it with a grain of salt. I've never been on another bike, but it's not that bad. I mean, 200 kilometers is a piece of cake, even if, you know, getting into the mountains and whatnot. And you know, 250, 260k is probably about what you would get out of it. But even with the so-called comfort seat on this bike, I mean, this thing is horrendously uncomfortable. After an hour and a half of riding, or a couple hours, I mean, you are just absolutely dying to stop and take a break. So, you know, it's really, the range has not been a factor for me at all. All right, now next up, people all talk about the twitchy throttle. I've got this in B, which is supposedly B for brutal. Traction control, I would drive around with it off, but I find the light over there kind of annoying when I'm riding, so I usually just have it on 1. You have to reset it every time anyways, so I just kind of leave it. To be honest with you though, you know, I have a dirt bike that's a WR450 with a big bore kit and a pipe on it. And I mean, you want to talk about twitchy throttle. Holy crap, that thing is just trying to buck you off the back every time you get on the gas. So Perhaps I'm just used to it, but I would not want to be, you know, having it less responsive than it is. I really enjoy that so-called twitchy throttle. So for me, you know, it's not really that big of a deal. If you'll actually notice, I have the windscreen off it right now. When I bought this bike, it was kind of set up for like sport touring. It's got a pretty tall windscreen, comes up to here, that I absolutely hate. And before I order a small one, I just wanted to try and see what it's like without having a windscreen on there. I know it looks disgusting. I will be putting the other one back on until the new one gets here. I've got almost 3,000 kilometers on this bike in the last month or so, and maybe month and a half that I've had it. And I think I could pretty much speak to most situations. You know, I've gone on a road trip that was probably 18 or 20 hours of riding over the course of a 4-day weekend kind of thing. Having cruise control on this is just the best. It is so unbelievably nice. Now, this bike came with the Michelin Road 5s. They're pretty much worn out. That's the wear bar is almost like right there. So I'm probably going to be, you know, I might try and get through the summer. We're basically into August. I'll need to replace the rear pretty quick. The front is in definitely better shape. So I'll probably get away with that one for a little while. And I have to say, I love these tires. I've had this thing dug into some corners pretty good. I have dragged the foot peg on one of these, and it's kind of got that weird little bump that sticks down there. So, you know, I have, you know, gotten into a bit of performance driving, definitely not like a track day or anything, but I've also driven in some wet roads and some rain, and I would say overall I'm in love with these tires and will definitely be getting them again. So in addition to wanting to get a different exhaust system and getting the ECU tuned, obviously, as I said, I need to get that smaller front windshield. The other thing is these mirrors. They don't even really work that great, to be honest with you, considering how like big dorky rabbit ear look they are. It's surprising how hard it is to see stuff behind you. Anyways, I'm probably going to go with the bar end ones that come up. I kind of like the look of those on these bikes. And yeah, I mean, aside from that, I'll have to look into something for longer trips. You know, maybe just like a pad I can put on the seat, or maybe get like a Seat Concepts or something. I haven't even looked into it, but aside from that, just absolutely in love with the bike. If I had to ride it as is forever, that wouldn't be that big of a deal. Any upgrades from here is all just gravy. All right, guys, I'm back in my very cramped little garage. One thing I forgot to mention, actually a couple of things. This getting the tail tidy thing so that all of this junk is kind of removed is absolutely mandatory. I'm really looking forward to getting that done. It just cleans the look of the bike up pretty dramatically. Another thing that I forgot to talk about was just how good the handling is on this thing. It's really a pretty big feature that I completely glossed over. This bike feels so comfortable in the corners. I mean, when you're whipping from corner to corner, it does have a bit of a top-heavy feel, you know, and the battery's up high and all that sort of stuff. It's definitely kind of an upright cruiser, so you're going to give up a bit on the performance end of things. But regardless, you know, this thing is just so confidence-inspiring when you're hitting the corners. Anyways, this is going to be a pretty fun thing to have on the channel here. Like I said, I've gone on my first road trip, and today I was just out cruising around on a local twisty-turny road and just having a blast. I went and did some motorcycle training, even though I have rode dirt bikes for years and years, and I think it's a really good idea for people to do. I also am out here on a roasting hot summer day. I'm wearing riding boots, I'm wearing riding pants, I've got a helmet, gloves, and an Alpine Stars jacket. I've seen a lot of people out on the road today just wearing t-shirts. I think that is an absolutely terrible idea. Anyways, though, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of feedback on what it's like living with this bike. This thing has got, like I said, almost 2,800 kilometers that I've put on it. So it's got about 27,000, I think now, somewhere right in there. Absolutely love the bike. Definitely looking forward to some performance upgrades, as apparently when you get the ECU tuned, it gets a lot torquier between 2,000 and 6,000, which I am all for that. Anyways, you guys, thanks for coming along. Please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.